shut up, you listen to my monkey mouth. There's a companion when you got pun on the Kanoa route. Hopped in a portal and got in a fight, Elias knocked him out. Bow, Naruto fighting style. Bow, UFC he tapped out. Bow, we win, we get crowned. Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the Ones Who Woke Up podcast. This is Joshua, as always, and today I've got with me
Raymond.
And so, Raymond, can you tell, because this is probably going to be everybody who's watching this first time being exposed to you, what you have going on, where they can find you online, and how they can support you both online and out there in the world. You know, like, what elevator pitch, what's going on?
I'm right now I'm trying to do a campaign. I'm trying to campaign for Norah Jones' #1 fan on Instagram. You can follow me at Nervous Dolphin. That's all I got for that.
Fuck yeah, bro. Yeah. Follow you at Nervous Dolphin. You're trying to be who's #1 fan?
Norah Jones.
Tell me 2 facts about Norah Jones off the top.
Shit.
What, like a movie she's been in, and why you're such
she's
a big
a
fan?
singer.
Oh, fuck. Okay,
Yeah.
She's a singer. Who does she sing for? Is she just like a solo artist?
Yeah, solo artist. Yeah.
Damn, okay. Is she still out there doing it these days, or is she like a back in the
Yeah,
day?
no, she's still doing it. Yeah.
So we could go see her on tour?
Maybe.
Have you looked into seeing her live?
I don't know much about Norah Jones, I'm going to be honest.
I feel like you're making a fucking spectacular case for being her #1 fan right now. Let's just hope to God that Norah Jones never sees this podcast, and then you've still got a chance of getting that.
Yeah.
She's gonna see this and be like, "Fuck that guy!
Yeah.
Doesn't know a goddamn thing about me."
Yeah. Honestly, I've spent the past couple of days listening to one song of hers on repeat, and I'm like, yeah, this is it.
Well, you can't give me blue balls like that. What's the name of the song?
Don't know why.
Okay.
That's the name of the song.
What's it about? Is it like a sobby song, bro?
Yeah, it's like a sad song.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you been heartbroken here recently, bro?
No, I'm just listening to Norah Jones.
I love it, bro. I think that's fantastic. But you're also doing stand up in and around Austin, right?
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing stand up?
It's been about 5.5 years. Yeah.
Did that start back in Corpus?
Yeah. So I started comedy back in Corpus, and then I lived in San Marcos for 2 years. And then I've been in Austin for 2 years.
What took you to San Marcos?
Just wanted to get out of Corpus, but I didn't want to make the commitment with Austin.
Man, that's such a fair set of reasons.
Yeah.
How you got there.
Yeah.
But now that you're in Austin, how are you liking it?
It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not the same speed as Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
What's like the wildest thing that you've seen in Austin since you've been here?
I haven't seen anything necessarily super crazy, but I have seen a lot of cars on fire on the side of the road.
What?
Yeah.
I feel like I've lived here my whole life. I've never seen a car on fire on the side of the road.
I've seen at least 3.
Is this like on the major highways, or is this just down in the city?
It's almost always like on the highway.
Huh.
Yeah.
Damn it, man. Okay. It's fucking Mad Maxville in this bitch. We're just getting ready for the apocalypse.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I used to live in Manor, so I would make the commute off of 290, and that was pretty much where I've seen all 3 cars on fire.
You know, it's over on the east side on the major highways. Yeah. That's like where you would see some poor shit like that going down.
Yeah. So that's probably like the craziest thing that I've seen mostly.
Yeah. You kind of a shut-in, ain't you?
Kind of. I mean, there's like one other thing. I went to a tunnel rave once. That was something.
Fucking dope.
Yeah.
Where was this at?
So, do you know? I don't know exactly. I think it's like What's the road that the Deep Eddy pulls on?
Oh God, who fucking knows? Just some out there road.
Yeah.
You know, it's out there ways.
So it's like a mix of like that and Mopac, but under the bridge there's like this weird like wooded area, and then there's like these like tunnels that you can go under. Like you can park under the bridge, and then there's like these giant cement tunnels. And then like sometimes they'll do like these raves, and they'll go on till like 6 in the morning.
Damn, that sounds like a great place to overheat and have a stroke.
Oh yeah, it's awful. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, it's right next to where that Tequila 512 building is off of Mopac. So it's like you park your car under there, and then there's like a weird sidewalk. Yeah.
Lit. I ain't ever been there. All the raves I used to go to raves down in Austin on the come up, and they were almost exclusively in warehouses.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of warehouse raves.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm not really like a big like that's the only rave I've ever been to.
Wow, really?
Yeah. But like I was at Buzzmill one time, and somebody was like, "Hey, do you want to go to this thing?" And I was like, "All right." So, and that's the story.
Did you like were you just at the rave stone cold sober, or did you at least, pop some ecstasy and dance?
No, I mean I was drinking a little bit before, but that was about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you should have taken a 10 strip.
No, that would have been awful.
Maybe. It might have been a spiritual experience.
No.
You were there. You know the vibe better than me. So.
I'm not into being in like party type environments.
I feel that.
I don't like. It was cool to experience it and see it and whatever, but the other part of me was like, I'm glad I'm like kind of sober right now, because I just have like the worst time.
Oh no, not me. If I was there, I'd have been the most intoxicated, and I would have been dancing the hardest out of everyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I have issues, homie.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time saying no to a good time.
Really?
Especially once I start having a good time.
Yeah.
And then the better time I'm having, the better every idea sounds.
Yeah.
So like by the time it's 3:30 in the morning and I'm high, like really high on hard drugs,
Yeah.
and drunk and being a maniac, and all of a sudden a shit ass idea comes up, we're like, fuck yeah, we're doing that. Let's fucking go. I'm leading the charge, bro.
Yeah.
I'm leading the charge to do the dumbass shit.
Yeah.
And so I definitely put in sincere effort, because I have a son and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got a 2-year-old, and which that's not the real excuse why I'm not being a wild man these days. It's just hard on your body.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I didn't think I was gonna make it to 30. And I'm 32. So ever since I turned that corner, which it didn't feel like much when I turned 30, but looking back, ever since I turned 30, I've been kind of like, yeah, maybe let's like not blow my heart out at a rave.
Yeah.
It's just like a difference in perspective, feeling different these days. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
I whenever I was young, I really didn't think I was gonna make it.
Yeah.
I was doing the wildest shit. Oh God, I was a handful.
Yeah.
Were you ever a handful like that whenever you were young?
Not really. I mean, once I started comedy, I started drinking a lot, but that's just kind of like a thing.
Well, you're just out in the scene.
Yeah,
you're trying to socialize.
You're out at every
part of the
single
thing.
bar, because that's all shows are ever at. So, yeah, I got into drinking a bunch, and then probably, I don't know, my sophomore year, I started getting into like weed and edibles.
Of high school?
No, at college.
Okay.
College.
Man, like maybe don't do that much when you're a child.
No,
No, okay.
Yeah, it was in college.
Got you.
No, high school I literally didn't do anything, but it was also because like not that I would have either way, but I grew up in a really small town, and and there wasn't really like that wasn't like a big thing.
Dude, shout out the hometown.
Yeah.
What? How many people were in your hometown when you were there?
Around like 1,000, something like
That's
that.
about the size. So, all three of us are from Granger.
No, really.
Yeah, you familiar with Granger?
I've heard about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's the next city up.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's 1,200 people there,
Yeah.
and I was a wild man.
Yeah.
Even then, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was getting into shit. I was getting into some dumb assery in high school. If my parents only knew the shit that I was getting into, they thought I was a good kid.
Yeah.
They thought. I was a much better liar than child.
Yeah.
The bottom line, I guess, is the easiest way to put that.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I'll be in a fuck up.
Yeah, I didn't really do much in high school. I just played a lot of video games and, typical whatever.
Based.
Huh?
I ain't mad at just playing a lot of video games.
Yeah.
What was your favorite video game on the come up?
Once I got into like middle school, high school, I played a lot of League of Legends, which is like my biggest regret in life.
It just sucked the life out of you for a couple of years.
The game's awful. Yeah.
I've never played it. Whatever you say, League of Legends, I see the words League of Legends in my brain, but like that's it.
I don't recommend it. Like I mean, I still love it. Like I still have like a little like piece
Bro,
of me that.
you have such a dynamic relationship with this video game.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like it's
I don't recommend it. It's so fucking good.
it's not good. Okay, wait. I don't know how to. The game itself is fun. The game itself, but like spending so much time because it's a multiplayer game. So the other part of the game is the community. So like the game itself, like it's pretty fun, but the community is awful. And it's like whenever I first started, it was like, oh, this is like a fun game, and me and my friends played, and then it just our friend group slowly started becoming like as toxic as the actual community. And then eventually, like, I mean, like we're still fun. Or like we didn't like stop being friends.
Okay, cool. In retrospect, you could see it was kind of toxifying things.
Yeah. We just constantly just be mad at each other for like no reason, and then finally we like stopped, and then we started playing Civilization, and then
Bro, I play Civilization.
Good game.
I play Civ 6 all the time.
I don't play Civ 6 that much.
Which one do you play?
5.
Is it better? I've never played Civ 5. I've only played Civ 6. I got introduced to it when it was Civ 6.
Civ 5 is good, but mostly for the sense that it's complete right now. I mean, obviously, because Civ 6 is out.
Yeah. There's going to be no more downloadable content. Like
Yeah.
every leader that there is already out there.
Yeah, like
Which-
everything's complete.
Let's digress a little bit because we're about to get off into some shit that very few people know about. Explain to everybody what Civ 6 is, right? Like explain it to me. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what Civ 6 is.
So, like, Civilization, it's a, 4x4? It's a strategy game, and you have, it's pretty much like a mix of, like, if you were to play, like, Risk, but, like, in a digital sense. But the thing about these, like, games is every Civilization after, like, 3 has, like, tons of expansions, and Civ 5 has a lot, but Civ 6, which is the newest one, they're still putting out expansions, and
I buy them every time. It pisses me off.
yeah,
Every time I'm like, fuck, here's extra $15, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't wait 6 months for it to drop down 60% in price. No, I get it that day. I'm like, oh wow, new. Time
Yeah.
for me to like buy a new part for my computer so I can play this better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was, whenever I bought it, I bought like I thought was like a season pass and everything. And I was like, okay, cool. Like,
It was gonna get you everything. Forever.
yeah. And then now I'm like, every once in a while I'll go back to Civ 6 and I'll be like, oh, there's new stuff. And like, let me download it. And then I look and it's like, oh, I have to buy this even though I bought whatever pass. And I was like, what's the point of buying the pass?
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
trash.
Yeah.
Hey, flash us at 40 minutes. So who's your Civ is so good.
Yeah.
I've got 10,000 hours on it
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
I'm like Mozart in that bitch. like really like that motherfucker a
Yeah.
lot. And so from my perspective, the way I would describe it is it's basically a world building game,
Yeah.
right? You get to pick one of several world leaders, and you start out with nothing, and you found
Yeah.
a city, and the point of the game is to build more cities and build your civilization up to the point that it can win the game through a number of ways, right? You can have a dominant culture, and like everybody is into your culture, and there you win, or you can do a wartime
Yeah.
where you physically go out and beat everybody. You can do a religion thing where everybody follows your religion.
Yeah.
Basically anything where you take over the planet, whether it be through religion, through culture, through war,
Diplomacy.
through economy, whatever it needs to be, you can dominate the game, and whoever dominates the best wins. And you can form alliances with these different world leaders, and you can play it solo, you can play it with friends, and it's very fucking good. Like, y'all can hear in my voice. I'm talking about some Civ 6 right now. But
It's a good game.
so on Civ 5, who's your favorite leader to play as?
I don't know the name specifically, but it's the leader, Morocco.
Okay.
Yeah.
What type of like extra perks and benefits do you get for playing as them?
You get a lot of buffs like for trading and stuff like
Okay.
that. That's my main thing. Is I like to do trading, and also like you can do like a crazy road system whenever. I mean, every leader can do some sort of road system, but with this one, like you get huge buffs if you create like an elaborate road system and everything. So that's just the kind of like character that I play.
My favorite to play as is the leader of like where Machu Picchu is. I can't remember the place, but it's like it's a South American
Yeah.
leader, and their whole thing is living in the mountains.
Yeah.
And so at a very early point in the game, you can put the tunnels through the mountains. And if you have a trade route going through the tunnel in the mountain, it like buffs your trade route.
Yeah.
And then if you do domestic trade routes to and from, then you get food buffs for every mountain tile that's in each city.
Yeah.
And so if you have a city that's founded in the mountains, trading to a city that's founded in the mountains, going through a tunnel pass, you're getting like stupid ass amounts
That's
of food.
crazy.
Yeah, and so I had one time I played through it, and my biggest city had 43, a civilization of 43.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that stacks up on Civ 5, but like that was way more than I've ever had anywhere else. There was so many people.
Yeah.
You produce anything in an instant because there were so many people. Like the food is the way.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting to talk about video games this much. Typically we talk about drugs. Have you ever done any psychedelics?
Oh yeah.
So what's your preferred psychedelic?
Mostly mushrooms.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your best mushroom experience like? Like the one that made you fall in love with it. I want to hear all about it.
I can't remember the one that I really, really was like super into, but there was one time I did a mix of acid and mushrooms, and I watched wrestling, and that was probably like one of my favorite like psychedelic experiences.
Did you watch it live or were you at home?
I was at home. Yeah.
Do you remember who was wrestling?
Yeah.
Who was wrestling?
That was Kenny Omega and Okada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bro,
So I don't know if you know about wrestling.
I haven't watched wrestling in a few years, but I grew up on that shit.
Yeah. Well, this is like Japanese wrestling. This isn't.
So it's way out of.
It's not like WWE.
Way out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Basically, I think there's like 4 matches with them.
I'm a mixed martial arts guy.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
please continue.
So I think there's like 4 4 matches with these guys. But basically what the storyline is you got Kenny Omega, who's like this like American wrestler. You know, he goes to Japan, and there's a lot of American wrestlers in Japan, but he's like the guy that everybody's like someday he's gonna, be top guy in Japan and all that.
Yeah.
And there's this other guy his name is Okada, and he has been the champion for I think at the time like 7 years in a row. Like,
God damn.
like nobody's ever been able to beat him. I think he was on just a general winning streak. But yeah, he's just top guy. Like, nobody could beat him. And so the Japanese version of like WrestleMania is Wrestle Kingdom. So pretty much every Wrestle Kingdom, before Wrestle Kingdom, the way like Japanese wrestling is it's more like tournament style.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of like, just having promotions and stuff like that, they just do a tournament, and pretty much every tournament, Kenny Omega would win and then go on and fight Okada. And for the first, like, I want to say there's 4 matches, but for the first, like, 3 matches, he loses, and then, he finally the big payoff. And then that's like the big thing with like Japanese wrestling is they book long term. So like, they're not like, oh, we're just gonna do like this stunt for like a couple of months. They're like, no, this is gonna be
this is a decade-long thing
Yeah.
that we're fucking with here.
Yeah.
They've got it thought out like
Yeah.
that. It's like they've got it built out like One Piece. They've got it built out like a manga.
Yeah,
type shit.
exactly.
Do you,
So like,
do you watch One Piece?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I'm not a big like.
I just said that, and you were like, yeah, and so I was like, maybe.
I mean, I understand.
Maybe.
I understand like the concept.
Sure.
And everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean to digress.
Oh no, that's yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It was just like,
You were high on mushrooms, and you watched this dude finally win the 4th fight.
yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet the crowd was just going fucking bananas.
Oh yeah.
That's always the
It was-
funnest shit for me.
One of the biggest moments in like modern wrestling history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were there, like in there
Yeah.
on that shit.
Yeah.
That's so
well,
fun.
on my couch, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, whenever
Yeah.
whenever you're on your couch high on LSD and mushrooms,
Yeah.
goddamn, you might as well be the sweat on that motherfucker's
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
How old do you think you were when this went down?
25. So probably 23. Something like that. 23.
Bro, that sounds like such a good time.
Yeah. That was good.
So have you ever taken a psychedelic and it given you some form of like actionable knowledge? You know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever taken it and gotten smarter, or developed at least an intuitive understanding of something that felt like
yeah.
helped you get through life better?
Yeah.
So what type of things have you learned, if you don't mind sharing, if you can? I understand it can be difficult. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'll spill the fucking beans. I just want to hear it from you.
I mean, it's mostly just like figuring things out about my own stuff.
Like particular situations, you go in and think about a particular situation, you can see the path.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, so my dad passed away 2 years ago.
Damn, I'm
Something like
sorry
that.
to hear that, brother.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. So it was like
It's all love.
it was a thing,
And
but
so you think that taking the psychedelics helped you grapple with that grief?
sort of. I mean, there's one particular experience where like I took acid, and it was I ended up watching the last episode of, what was it, Midnight Gospel, which I know is like the most like,
It's kind of like the quintessential thing that you do.
yeah, like the most like typical thing is like watch Midnight Gospel.
It's
on-
okay.
on
It's there
drugs.
for a reason.
Yeah, but
Duncan and them knew what they were doing, homie.
oh yeah, no,
It was-
yeah.
Not
But
by accident.
It was like I watched that, and then I was like, okay, well, some of this is like making sense. But it wasn't not only like that I was dealing with, but it was like the day after was whenever I listened to both episodes. I don't know if you've listened to Duncan Trussell's podcast,
The Family Hour.
The Family Hour.
Yeah, I'm a big Duncan Trussell dork.
Yeah,
I've been a fan of his since the very first time I saw him on Joe Rogan.
yeah.
I've been watching Joe Rogan since he was doing it on a webcam in his bedroom alone type shit.
Really.
Yeah, I was Yeah, because I follow Joe Rogan over from mixed martial arts. He
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
was UFC commentator for forever, and I've been mixed martial arts work for forever. I run a mixed martial arts podcast, and so whenever I found out that Joe, the guy on the fucking TV who does the fight stuff, was doing something on the internet, I was like, well, let's see. And so
Yeah.
I've just been rocking literally since day one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm a big Brandon Schaub fan. I'm a big Duncan Trussell fan. All the guys. I'm a Red Band fan. You know, Red Band lives around here.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've just that whole scene over there where it's popped off. Everybody who's spun off of there, I've kept up with the whole time. And yeah, those guys are like particularly part of what's inspired me to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I just know that it could work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think I got some important stuff to say. Like
Yeah.
I really like this little Once Who Woke Up where we come in and like spill the beans on the psychedelic truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I really do believe that there's some benefit to be had there, right? And I think that it's kind of a taboo subject even still.
Yeah.
You know, and so I really want to just shine my light of truth out as effectively as I can, because I know that I've had profoundly positive experiences on psychedelics that have helped me in immeasurable ways
Yeah.
that are so grandiose that they're difficult to even communicate. You know what I'm saying? It literally helped me orient myself back into being a good person.
Yeah.
And so, but you know, it's one of those things where they need to be spoken out frankly, because they can be misused, right? And like they can do some potential harm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I always try and just speak frankly on, you know, like what doses would look like and the type of environment you need to do them in. Like one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is, have you ever done any psychedelics and just meditated?
I don't know if I necessarily meditated, but I always like super prepare beforehand.
Good.
Like I'm not. I think there's only been one time where I kind of like just took psychedelics just because.
It was like a willy-nilly thing.
Yeah.
Only once.
I like went to a concert and I was like, oh, I'll do this like one time, and then it was awful.
I've done it in some party scenes and I've done it in some rave scenes, and it can be good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's much more about you,
Yeah.
really, than anything.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just gonna exacerbate whatever you have going on. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So, if you're ecstatic in an environment, you're going to be much more ecstatic in that environment. Whenever
Yeah.
you take these type of drugs, if you're uncomfortable in an environment, you're going to be much more uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so you just got to be really frank with yourself
Yeah.
about the type of things that you actually do and don't like, and are not comfortable with, and what you do and don't want to be doing.
Yeah.
Right? And don't put yourself in any situation where you're going to be doing something that you don't want to be doing with somebody you don't want to be doing it with, in an environment you don't want to be in.
Oh, yeah.
Like those are the things that'll trigger bad trips,
Yeah.
because you're not comfortable. You
Yeah.
need to be comfortable. And you know, I usually highly recommend having a good trip setter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're going to be taking a high dose. You know, you ever taken any like really high doses?
No, everything's a high dose for me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So what do you think the like biggest trip you ever took was?
I think it was the last time I did mushrooms.
It's like relatively recently.
Yeah, it was pretty recently, or I mean, it's probably been a year by now. But
That's
it was,
about
yeah,
right.
it was probably like 4.5 grams, which doesn't sound like a lot, but these were like a special type that were like twice as potent.
I mean, a 4.5 grams is supposed to be a good trip.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a real good trip.
Yeah.
Like some people would consider that heroic.
Yeah.
You
Because
know?
this was more like 8. Like, I mean, like potency wise, like, or at least that's what it felt like. And
Like
that's,
if you were to try and just speak on it frankly, right?
yeah, because it's like I've had like 4 grams of like other type of mushrooms, and I know what that feels like
It felt twice as
versus
strong.
like this one where I'm like, okay, yeah, this was
It
intense.
kind of jerked you around.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
That was one of the ones where I started out listening to music. I was listening to this album called Promises by Floating Points. It's a really like more orchestral album.
Nice.
And then from there, it pretty much went into just, I don't know, my thoughts were racing for like a long time, and then I finally like calmed down at some point. And then I just thought about a lot of issues that I've had with like communicating and being distant from people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Words can be tough.
Yeah.
We're monkeys, bro. Like, we ooh ah ah at one another,
Yeah.
and it is not a very effective way at articulating truth.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it creates hang-ups, man, for
Yeah.
real, and it can oftentimes be easier to just simply withdraw.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
obvious, right? Like, fuck it. You know, like, I can't fuck it up if I'm not fucking it up.
Yeah.
Sit here and shut up. You know, been there
Yeah.
and done that. But I highly recommend meditating on it.
Yeah.
Like, it's it can facilitate so much more impactful of experiences.
Yeah.
Like, intentful meditation in silent darkness can do a whole lot for the psychedelic.
Yeah.
For sure. But so one of the first big trips I ever had, I took about 10 hits of LSD.
Jeez.
Yeah. And this was, I'd only ever taken it in party scenes before that.
Yeah.
I never really had like a trip.
Yeah.
It was always just me getting, doing real drugs and
Yeah.
also having psychedelics and then going and like raving and being a maniac. So I didn't have any real important experiences with it up until this point. And we took a bunch. We got about an hour in. It wasn't really working. Looks, it didn't feel like it. So I was like, fuck it. I'm taking the rest of this. And immediately I got really high. I was like, oh, fuck. It's about to double this. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
And, but as it was coming up, one of the things that I kept hearing, but it isn't really words, right? You just kind of keep getting this intuitive sense
Oh yeah.
of things. And I kept getting this intuitive sense that the state of mind that I was achieving could be achieved without drugs.
Yeah.
Something that you can get through meditation. Like it's not the introduction of the chemical that makes the magic happen. It's the opening of the chemical doorways that already exist in your brain that makes the magic happen. And those
Yeah.
things can be controlled almost mechanically with intent. There's a story of Ram Dass, or one of those guys, going over to India and giving an old yogi LSD and it just not affecting him because he
Yeah.
was just here now, as emphatically as he could be. Because that's all these things are really doing, is snapping you out of yesterday and tomorrow and putting you firmly right here, right now. When you
Yeah.
can do that, bro, there's magic on everything. The pattern on this microphone is fucking magical,
Yeah.
bro. It's everywhere. You can see the fingerprint of God in the lead of a pencil if
Yeah.
you're just here now. And it kept telling me that not only, it didn't tell me, I kind of concluded on my own that it was, but the thing that it was telling me is that the state of mind that you're achieving can be achieved through meditation. And I was like, well, if it can be achieved through meditation, then I bet this can be expanded upon through meditation. So I went and meditated in my bedroom in silent darkness
Yeah.
and met God, homie.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Went and had my heart weighed against the feather of truth in the hall of Anubis, just like how they depict in Midnight Gospel.
Yeah.
Which I've actually never watched Midnight Gospel. I only saw part of that
Oh,
one
really?
episode. Yeah. I feel like at the end of the day, we're all Buddha, and some of us have shed the act that we're not.
Yeah.
And Duncan is one of those guys who's shed the act, right? I've also shed the act. And at that point, we're two old men on the front porch, rocking our rocking chairs. We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
We get it. I
Yeah.
get it. He gets it. We get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
And so any attempt at improving upon that level of understanding that's been achieved is actually going to take us further away from it.
Yeah.
And so I honestly feel like watching Midnight Gospel would take away from that a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I swear.
Yeah.
And so I haven't watched it yet, but I'll get around to it.
Yeah. I think
Like,
for
it's
me,
gonna be good.
It was more of just like an entertainment thing. Well, whenever I first watched it, I was like, "Oh, cool, funny cartoon." And then whenever I actually watched it, I was like, "Oh, this is
Fuck.
traumatizing."
Whoa,
Yeah.
yeah. Holy shit, you turn that on thinking it was going to be a cartoon and you got
Yeah.
fucking uppercutted with some shit.
Well, the first time I watched it, like it came out on 420, so
Yeah, I remember that.
like me and a bunch of friends, like we're you know we were celebrating like at a like 5 people come over to my place, and we were like, okay, we're just gonna like eat a bunch of cookies and watch this, and then we sat down and we're like, what is this? But then like we didn't turn it off. We were just like watching the whole thing, and then like everybody fell asleep except me.
Oh my god.
And then once I got to the end, I was like, oh yeah, this is.
I'm going to
Yeah.
carry this with me the rest of my
Yeah,
life.
and then everybody was like, how was the show? And I was like, oh, jeez.
Like, don't watch it.
Yeah,
It's going to hurt you. It's going to
yeah,
hurt your feelings.
yeah,
It's funny, on the subject of numbers and being significant, they released it on 420. One of the numbers that's really special to me now is 108.
really?
And that's the number of beads that are on the bead threads that the monks would count and stuff.
Okay.
But that's not why it matters to me. It's funny how these things line up. On this particular LSD trip that I was talking about, my first real big one, I was so high, and I looked down, it was 105, and hours went by. And I looked at my phone,
Yeah.
and it was 108.
Jeez.
And that's why it's Magic Man 108
Yeah.
on social media. Because
Yeah.
that's number fucking 108. Like, hit me so hard. I laughed so hard when I saw that it had only been 3 fucking minutes. Because I was so high. I thought that I'd been high for hours. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
This is about to be over. Nah,
No.
homie. This ain't
Yeah.
about to be over. You've been high for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You've got 3 more hours, homie. Buckle
Yeah.
the fuck up. And so now 108 sticks with me like 420 does, or
Really?
any number that matters to anybody. Like every time I
Yeah.
see 108, it's like, I fucking see you over there.
Yeah.
I like the fourth wall break to God.
Yeah.
I fucking see your punk ass over there. So it's one of the ways that like the Zen masters would get people to wake up, is they would crack jokes with the Godhead,
Yeah.
right? Like, you come to me saying, how do I awaken my inner Buddhahood? They would go, how do you pull Mount Fuji out of your pocket? It's like, what the fuck? Like, you're not, like, there's no doing it.
Yeah.
The only way to do it is to get out of your own way. We're all already there. And so
Yeah.
they would, that pull Mount Fuji out of your front pocket isn't even meant for Raymond. That's meant for the galactic consciousness that possesses us both. And like, if it can make the galactic consciousness giggle, then maybe the act of Raymond can drop for a second and we'll both go, ha ha, ha, saw it.
Yeah.
And in that moment, it's like when the bottom of the bucket falls out, so too does the entirety of it, right? It all goes when the bottom of the bucket goes. And so that's that joking with the Godhead behind you is an attempt at cutting the bucket out from underneath you. Which, you know, that's fun because that hits like a joke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a spontaneous understanding, right? You suddenly get it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how you're supposed to get it. Right. And whenever I come out here and spill the beans like this, right, everybody who hears it, I've now robbed of that.
Yeah.
Now, you know, you didn't get the point of the joke fast enough and someone sitting next to you went, hey, I saw you're not laughing. Here's the fucking point. And you were able to go, ha, but it doesn't quite hit the same as if you take 10 hits of LSD and like the galactic consciousness slap you upside the fucking head with this shit.
Figure it out for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's one of those things where I kind of grapple with like, is this even cool or not for me to be doing? But, you know, I think it's chill, man. I think that the information that I'm sharing here could be of potential benefit for a lot of folk, right? There's a lot of people out there who are having a hard time just enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're just like not having a fucking great time on planet ecstasy right now. So
Yeah.
like, bruh, Let's fucking get with it, bro. We're all the Godhead experiencing itself for the sake of it, for the sake of its own ecstasy. Let's fucking get with it. Let's have some big fucking orgies. Let's do some fucking drugs. Let's have a good fucking time before the sun consumes this fucking planet.
Yeah.
And on that note, I feel like we can wrap up the podcast, man. If you want to shout out everybody one last time, who you are, where they can find you, how they can support you, that type of shit, we'll call it a wrap.
I guess just follow me on Instagram at Nervous Dolphin. You can also follow me at 7-Eleven Joke, at Monopoly Joke, at Psych Joke, and that's PHYCHSIKE Joke. And then what else I got? Oh, Airplane Joke, Baseball Joke, and that's all I got for Instagram accounts.
Fuck yeah, bro. And hopefully they'll be able to see, you know, you posting about doing a show here or there. They'll be able to go support you type shit.
Yeah.
And, dude, I really appreciate you so much for stopping in. It's been a fantastic and fun conversation. I can't believe we were able to bro down over some Civilization,
Yeah.
bro. How often do you run into somebody who plays Civ these days?
Not often.
Know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Gang, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Y'all are all royalty. Again, this is Joshua. This has been my guest, Raymond. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Later.
Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.